Hey guys, TrainerDC here, coming at you with another video. So I just finished the entirety of the Crown Tundra and wanted to give you guys my review of the second DLC pack for Pokemon Sword and Shield. And first and foremost, I will say I am really impressed with what Game Freak did. If you've watched my prior videos on the channel discussing Sword and Shield, you'll know I'm not the biggest fans of these games. And I'm actually genuinely impressed by what Game Freak did here. One other thing I will say before I get into spoilers is that it took me around 5 or 6 hours to beat the Crown Tundra, and that will vary based on how long it takes you to catch particular legendaries, and I'll get into that in the spoiler section. So from here on out, spoilers ahead, you have been warned. So the Crown Tundra starts off with you running into Peony, who tells you about the Dynamaxx Adventures, and they make you do one of them. And honestly, I'm pretty impressed by that feature. It seems like it'd be a lot of fun with friends. You basically have like 4 stages where you fight, 3 regular Pokemon that are Dynamaxx. Then the last stage you get to fight a legendary from prior games that have a 100% catch rate. I got Suicune on my first shot, and so that was pretty cool. Then you get into the story, which has 3 main chapters, which you can do in any order, which I think is really great, because they have basically one chapter is revolving around Calyrex, one's revolving around the Regis, the other's revolving around the legendary birds. I did Calyrex first, then the birds, then the Regis last. And I'm going to give you briefly my thoughts on each of these. So Calyrex, starting out with that new Pokemon, basically they actually created a pretty cool lore around this Pokemon. So basically there's a little town that Calyrex used to watch over in ancient times, and he used to help out the town folk, and they built a statue in Calyrex's honor. Calyrex has 2 steeds, if you don't know already, Glastrier and Spectrier, which basically he loses throughout time, and he's lost a lot of his power, so you have to help him get back one of these 2 horses, which you choose whichever one you want. And so basically Calyrex, which I thought this part is awesome, Calyrex is a psychic grass type, right? And so Calyrex actually possesses Peony in order to talk to you, which I thought that was absolutely sick. So basically, in short, this whole story is helping Calyrex get, re-recognized by the townsfolk, because over the generations they think Calyrex is just an old wise tale that's not real. So then the second part, which is what I played, is the Galarian birds, tracking them down. So you go to the tree and you see this cool cutscene, then they go on their separate ways and you have to go find them throughout the Galar region. Basically, Zapdos goes to the wild area, Articuno stays in the Crown Tundra, and Moltres goes to the Isle of Armor. You have to chase them down, and when you do, I highly recommend you save, because this can be really time consuming. I had to play Zapdos probably about 15 times, because when I was fighting him, it was hailing in the wild area, and he kept dying from the hail before I was able to catch him. So this is where it could be time consuming. This could take you literally anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes if you have good luck. On my part, it took me about an hour, hour and a half to get all 3 of these, because I just had so much trouble with Zapdos. And also, if you accidentally kill them, don't worry, they'll just go to some other part of the region, but again, you don't really want to keep chasing them down, so I would save before fighting them. Now, the last thing is the Regis, and the Regis, basically, you have to find each of these caves. You have to find where the different Regis are located. And you have to catch Regice, Registeel, and Regirock in order to catch either Regieleki or Regidrago. You cannot capture both. You have to choose which one you want to go for. And overall, I thought, basically in order to get inside the temples, you have to, there's a little puzzle basically. They're like, oh, for example, Regice, they're like, oh, you need a Pokemon made of ice, so you have to put a pure ice type in front of your party. I'm not sure if it specifically has to be Cryogonal, but that's who I did. And then the door will open, and then you get to catch Regice. Basically, quick little puzzle, and I thought that was fun. Then after you finish that, you then have to play the Galar Star Tournament, which it's just a tournament. I mean, I know a lot of people like that kind of thing. It's not for me per se. It's not my cup of tea. And then the final thing, then after that, that's the complete basically story of the Crown Tundra. After that, there is a ton of post-game. Basically, you can keep playing Dynamaxx Adventures to get all these old legendaries. Then on top of that, there's basically little footsteps all around the region where you can catch the Swords Trio. Verzion, Terrakion, and Cobalion. You can catch the 3 of them. Then if you do catch all 3 of them by tracking down their footsteps and all that, then you could catch Keldeo. And then on top of this, the Ultra Beast is a 4th chapter. They came from the Ultra Beyond is what it is called. And I do have a little bit of a complaint about this one. This chapter starts basically immediately after you finish, all three of the initial chapters, and they tell you basically some kids run out of the Dynamaxx Adventures cave and they said, oh, there's like alien Pokemon inside of there. And so you would then presume if you enter the cave, you would then be fighting an Ultra Beast, right? So I enter the cave, I play through a Dynamaxx Adventure, I see that there's a Dragon type at the end, so I'm like, okay, I'm probably going to fight Guzzlord, and then it's a Latios. So I was like, that's kind of weird. Did I do something wrong? Did I misunderstand something? Oh, maybe the Ultra Beasts are, just around the Tundra in the overworld. I go in the overworld, they're not there. I look it up online. Turns out they're random encounters in the Dynamaxx cave. It's like you're either going to get a legendary Pokemon from previous game or you're going to get an Ultra Beast, which I'm like, that was kind of weird because it was kind of misrepresented when you, when you go in there. They're like, oh yeah, the Ultra Beasts are in there. Then you actually go, and there's a chance there could be an Ultra Beast in there, but like for me, it was a Latios. So that's the only real complaint that I have about this. But overall, I'm really impressed by the Crown Tundra. I really, really am. Game Freak, I think personally, are starting to learn how to develop an HD game. Because I've noticed that the Isle of Armor looked better than the base game. And the Crown Tundra takes that even a step further. I feel like some of the battle animations that are introduced in the Crown Tundra look a lot better than the ones you see in the base game. Some of the returning moves look better. Just the general scope of the game, it just, to me, visually, graphically, it looks better than the initial release. It's nothing like mind-blowingly new, but it does look better. And that is why I would give the Crown Tundra a 7.5 out of 10. I think that if you like Pokemon, you should get this DLC pack. Because I know the Isle of Armor, I have a review on that if you want to see. That one's kind of like thrown to the side, just this quick little thing. They put effort into the Crown Tundra. They went I won't want to say all out, but they did a really good job with it, and I think it is definitely worth your time to sink into. Because, listen, it took me 5 or 6 hours to complete just the main story of it, but literally I could be playing this for another 20, 30 hours in order to get all the legendaries. There is a lot of play value to be had here, and that is why if you have Pokemon Sword and Shield and you enjoyed the base game, or even if you didn't enjoy the base game, I would highly recommend that you get this DLC pack just to play the Crown Tundra. If you're getting the DLC pack, I'm not saying you shouldn't play the Isle of Armor. Just play that first, get Urshifu, and then move on to the Crown Tundra. But yeah, it's definitely worth your time. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.